Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works by George, John, Dave, and other creators coming on board that will be able to announce all these new Star Wars projects at Star Wars Celebration coming this May. That's going to be, of course, presented by Disney CEO Bob Chapek and others. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So what's even all the more exciting right now is that, yes, we are getting very close to the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. We're also getting very near to the Bad Batch Season 2. In fact, we are going to be getting an official trailer for the Bad Batch Season 2 momentarily, and that is all set and ready to debut by this spring. In fact, Lucasfilm, as of right now, they are debating on whether or not they want to move forward with a Season 3 of the Bad Batch, because they have so many animated projects in the pipeline to work with right now, more than they can actually handle. So there's a lot of things happening right now between George, John, and Dave by really cherry-picking a lot of things from Star Wars Legends and mixing it in with the new Star Wars canon by Disney, and exactly how they're able to create a nice balance between all of that. Now, on top of all of this, one thing that a lot of Star Wars fans have been very intrigued about is, of course, what's going on with the post-Episode 9 era and/or timeline. Exactly what's happening with all of that. Now, in 2023, we already know that there's a lot of books and comics lined up to explain a lot about the post-Episode 9 era, but we also have a lot of official projects that are also going to be in the works momentarily as well, for, of course, the Rise of Skywalker post-period. So basically, post-Rise of Skywalker content is going to be a big deal for, of course, around 3 or so projects on Disney+. Now, on top of all of this, what's really exciting is that given that the Ahsoka Tano TV show is now moving into principal photography very, very soon, Disney CEO Bob Chapek is prepared to make several announcements at Star Wars Celebration for a host of new Star Wars shows and more. However, it's noted that currently actress Daisy Ridley is said to be getting replaced as the character of Rey in the Star Wars universe, with a big upcoming project by Lucasfilm that is set to debut sometime in 2024. Now, further, it's described that this major project is set to be the Rise of Skywalker sequel series, where, given that Daisy Ridley had no interest in returning for this show specifically, Disney and Lucasfilm have chosen to replace Daisy Ridley with somebody else entirely, to portray an older version of Rey in the sequel series that is set to take place around 10 years after Episode 9. Now, the big plan that was recently finalized is that Lucasfilm and Disney recently hired actress Rachel Weisz to portray an older version of Rey in the sequel series that is set to borrow many aspects from Star Wars Legends as well. Now, this story is set to focus on the new Jedi Order and Rey's life as a mother in this post-Episode 9 timeline as well. Rachel is actually described to have been chosen to offer herself to go on tons of different scenes that will offer voiceover work as well as motion capture sequences to make an older version of Rey come to life. Now, the thing about this, alright, we already know that there's a handful of fans out there that either like the character or completely dislike the character, and that's totally understandable. You know, there's a lot of fans out there that really did not support the character of Rey in the sequel series. I agree that the character was very mismanaged from Episode 7 all the way until Episode 9. The character had a lot of opportunities, a lot of potential. It's just that it came off as a very lazy written character by Rian Johnson, especially in The Last Jedi, and even more so in my book in the Rise of Skywalker film. You know, the reason they wanted to explain how Rey was so powerful, a real easy way out for J.J. Abrams was just make her a Palpatine. And that's exactly why they dragged Palpatine into the mix, into the overall story, to explain more about that. And, you know, it was nice to see Palpatine back. It was nice to get at least an explanation of Rey's lineage being connected to a legacy character. Of course, you know, some fans liked that connection. But I think that more fans would have respected of what Colin Trevorrow was going to do by making her a very powerful, original character that comes from a very powerful bloodline, Rey Solana, which, by the way, is something that both John and Dave are going to be picking up on in, of course, future Rey material. Now, on top of all of this, alright, now this in addition, alright, this new series is described to be in lifelike animation form. Given that it will appear as if it's real, however, it will not be considered live action. The best way to describe this style of animation is near similar to high-end video game cutscenes that appear to be visually stunning. This gives Lucasfilm the opportunity to do impossible things with their characters in a project like this, that is set to begin pre-production by the end of this year, where development of the show as far as the animation goes is set to begin in mid-2023. Now, to kind of put things in perspective, alright, the cutscenes, or should I say the animation that are going to appear like cutscenes, go ahead and look at the High Republic video game called Star Wars Eclipse, okay? If you guys go ahead and look at the cutscenes of that, or the cinematics of that, that's exactly what they're shooting for with the Rise of Skywalker sequel series. It's going to have that style of animation. It's not going to be anything like Rebels or the Clone Wars or the Bad Batch, so there's that. The other thing is that they will also be using upgraded technology for the motion capture sequences, so it's going to look more fluid, you know, it's going to look more realistic as far as how the characters move around. So I think that they have a lot of potential here, they really do. Moving on. So to eventually release everything on Disney Plus by the second to third quarter of 2024 is what they're aiming for. Actress Rachel Weisz is described to be very excited to join the sequel series, though Daisy Ridley is set to make some cameos as Rey in completely separate project in full live-action form. This one in particular, of course, Daisy Ridley just had no interest in for the time being, and Rachel will be taking over the role as Rey in the Star Wars universe. Now, this project is also set to bring in actor Adam Driver once again, to portray Ben Solo in a surprising and unexpected way to the Star Wars fandom. Part of the story in the sequel series is said to surround Ben Solo in a significant light, of course, for the Star Wars lore, something that both Dave and John will be involving in for the next couple of years, and will be taking great care with the project. The series will also explore characters such as Finn becoming a part of the Rey's Jedi Order and new Jedi across the galaxy being introduced as well. However, John Boyega has also refused to come back into Star Wars. Additionally, Force Ghosts of fan favorites will be heavily involved in this series as well. So you can see how they're kind of combining sequel characters and original trilogy characters through Force Ghosts, and how they're also going to be treating some of the characters with greater respect. Now, I know a lot of fans wanted Force-sensitive Finn in all his glory in Episode 9. It's something that unfortunately we did not get to the maximum that we could have gotten. All we got through Finn was that he was able to kind of make great judgment calls on specific situations during the Battle of Exegol and stuff around those lines, but we never really got to see him in full combat again, like how we did in The Force Awakens. Again, The Force Awakens used Finn essentially as a ruse. The thing about this sequel series, it sounds promising, it sounds like it could do something beautiful and amazing. The problem with this is that there's a lot of fans out there that do not like the characters associated with the sequel trilogy, so under John and Dave's supervision, can they pull it off? You know, can they make these characters a little bit more presentable and respectable to the Star Wars universe and to the Star Wars fandom that dislike those characters in the sequel movies? That's a big question. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to